In the trucking industry, there's this one number that points to a massive crisis, one that touches on health and business and has been hiding in plain sight for decades. So today, we're going to break down what it is and the new way companies are trying to solve it. This is the 61-year problem.
So let's just start with that number, 61. Just let that sink in for a second. What on earth could this possibly represent in the world of professional trucking?
Let's get more specific. What does this number mean for the actual life of a driver? And no, we're not talking about miles per gallon or the speed limit on I-80. This is something way more personal, and honestly, a whole lot more important. It's their average life expectancy. 61 years. Yeah, you heard that right. According to data that was brought to light by an initiative called Project 61, that is the shocking reality for the men and women who literally keep our entire economy moving.
So that number is the very core of the 61-year problem. It's a crisis of health for sure, but as we're about to see, a driver's well-being and a company's ability to keep them on board are totally, fundamentally linked.
Now, this isn't just about one single thing. The reality of life on the road, it creates this perfect storm of health challenges. We're talking about really high rates of obesity and heart disease, which makes sense from such a sedentary lifestyle. But then there's the heavy mental toll of depression and this deep, profound isolation from being away from family and friends for weeks at a time.
And look, this isn't just a human crisis. It's a massive business crisis. When drivers are unhealthy, when they feel disconnected and alone, what do? They leave. And that creates these insane turnover rates that cost companies millions upon millions in just constant churning recruitment and training.
So how in the world do you fix a problem this huge? Well, it's going to take a complete shift in how we think. It requires what's called a holistic approach, one that moves way beyond the old-school metrics of just pay and miles.
So what do we even mean by holistic? Well, it's an approach that looks at the entire person, not just the employee. It's about proactively taking care of the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of drivers. The whole goal is to create an environment that's genuinely supportive, one that actually fights back against the stress and burnout that are so incredibly common in the industry.
And this right here really lays out the difference. The traditional way of doing things was purely transactional. You drive the miles, we give you the pay, simple. But this holistic approach, it's relational. It focuses on a driver's total well-being, making them feel like a supported person, not just an asset.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in the real world? The first big piece is connecting the fleet. This is all about building that sense of community and recognition, which is so important to fight that powerful feeling of isolation that just comes with the job.
And it breaks down into 3 simple but super powerful steps. First, companies have to listen. Actually use surveys to understand what drivers need. Second, they have to communicate, using things like real-time messaging. And finally, they recognize the hard work, celebrating milestones and achievements. It's really all about making sure that no driver ever feels like they're invisible out there.
But hey, connection is only half the battle, right? The other absolutely critical piece is providing real, tangible tools for wellness on the road. This is about giving drivers the health resources they need right where they are, which is often in the cab of their truck.
And this is where it gets really practical. It's about directly mapping a specific real-world problem to a tech-enabled solution. So, for the mental stress of being alone, there's virtual therapy through services like Talkspace. For a medical issue 1,000 miles from home, boom, you've got virtual healthcare with PlushCare. It's all about knocking down the barriers that stop drivers from staying healthy.
So when you combine that sense of connection with these tangible wellness tools, the result is a strategy that delivers so much more than just miles. Let's take a look at the true impact here, on both people and the bottom line.
There's a core philosophy behind all this that really says it all. Show drivers they matter beyond just the miles they drive. It's a huge shift from valuing a function to actually valuing a person.
And here it is. This is the payoff. When drivers feel genuinely supported and are healthier physically and mentally, they are, surprise, surprise, more loyal. And this isn't some nice-to-have fluffy thing. It leads to real business results, like turnover rates plummeting, recruitment costs going way down, and building a much stronger, more positive company culture for everyone.
Which leaves us with one final thought. We've talked a lot about the benefits of investing in a strategy like this. But maybe the real question we should be asking ourselves, not just in trucking, but in any industry, is this. What is the true cost of not investing in your people?